Thank you, Madam Chair. Congratulations, gentlemen. Professor Barr, you worked for Secretary Geithner, and would it be fair to say that the two of you and others, as a result of the meltdown in 07 and 08, you rewrote the rules for Wall Street?
Senator, thank you for that question. I would say that as a result of the meltdown, Congress rewrote the rules for Wall Street, and the regulators have been implementing those rules since Congress rewrote them.
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, and I'm not trying to trick you. You and Secretary Geithner sort of provided the roadmap. Was that accurate?
Thank you, Senator. The Treasury Department issued a white paper in the spring of the year after the financial crisis, and that roadmap we then translated into draft legislation we shared with
Professor,
the Hill.
Don't stall me. I've got a lot of other questions. After you and Secretary Geithner rewrote the rules for Wall Street, and Secretary Geithner left government, where'd he go?
Senator, I believe that he went to work for a private equity company.
He's at Wall Street, right?
I'll let you define what that is, sir.
And I believe you just committed to Senator Warren that you wouldn't do that.
Senator, when I left the government before I went back to academia, that's my plan, is to return back to academia.
Okay. And I appreciate that. Do we still have banks that are too big to fail?
Senator, I think the answer to that question is always a work in progress. I think capital and liquidity in the system is very strong. The rules that Congress put in place after the financial crisis make it much less likely that such a financial firm could get itself into trouble and in a way that would cause problems for the broader economy.
Well, if J.P. Morgan, if you're confirmed, if J.P. Morgan came to you and said, we're going down, would you bail them out?
Senator, that is not an available option after the financial crisis rule book was put in place. They'd be put into orderly liquidation under the rules that Congress laid out.
Okay. Do you consider yourself a Keynesian?
Senator, I am not an expert either in macroeconomics or in Keynesianism, but I would suggest that I follow normal, modern rules of macroeconomics, including the teachings of Keynes.
Well, Professor Keynes said that in order to get out of a recession, he recommended having the government deficit spend in order to stimulate your economy. Do I have that right?
That is one of the lessons, yes,
right,
sir, of his history.
Okay. And a lot of people stop there. They don't read the next page. He also said that once your economy is recovering, you should stop deficit spending, did he not?
Yes, I think the basic idea is that deficit spending can be used to bolster the economy in good times, and that government debt should be reduced in good times.
And we haven't done that, have we?
It's been a very long time since the Congress has reduced spending in line with expenditures.
And I believe on the next page, after the next page, in Professor Keynes' seminal work and others, he said, when the economy's recovering, not only do you stop deficit spending, I believe he recommended paying the money back.
The 2008 financial crisis changed everything. Wall Street was shaken, millions of Americans lost their jobs, and new rules were written to prevent another collapse. But years later, tough questions remain. Did those reforms truly fix the system? Are banks still too big to fail? And why did community banks face stricter regulations while Wall Street giants walked free? Today, we dive into a heated Senate exchange that puts those very questions under the spotlight. Following the 2007-2008 meltdown, Treasury officials, including then-Secretary Timothy Geithner, crafted a roadmap for financial reform. This blueprint eventually became legislation passed by Congress. Reshaping the Rules of Wall Street. In this hearing, Senator Kennedy pressed Professor Michael Barr on whether he and Geithner rewrote the rules for Wall Street, and questioned what happened after Geithner left government service, pointing out his move to a private equity firm. One of the central issues of the crisis was the concept of too big to fail. Senator Kennedy asked directly, "Do we still have banks too big to fail?" Professor Barr responded that while safeguards are stronger today, capital, liquidity, and orderly liquidation procedures are in place, the question is always a work in progress. Kennedy pushed further, asking if J.P. Morgan were on the brink of collapse, would Barr bail them out? Barr's answer was firm. Bailout options no longer exist under current rules. Liquidation would be the only path. The hearing then turned philosophical. Senator Kennedy brought up the ideas of economist John Maynard Keynes, emphasizing deficit spending during downturns but fiscal restraint during recoveries. Kennedy argued that while Keynes recommended paying down debt in good times, Congress has long abandoned that principle. Professor Barr agreed in part, acknowledging that it has been a very long time since revenues and expenditures were balanced. Kennedy raised another pressing concern: a looming $250 billion bill to subsidize big tech.
He recommended paying the money back, didn't he?
Senator, I'm not sure I can go page by page with the precision you have.
But he said once you stop deficit spending in the economy's recovery, you eliminate the deficits, didn't he?
The basic idea, as I said, and I think it's consistent with what you're saying, is in good times you should be paying things down.
Yeah. We don't do that either, do we?
As I said, it has been a very long time since Congress has had expenditures and revenues aligned.
Right. All right. And we've got coming soon a $250 billion bill, it may be more, to subsidize big tech. Lord have mercy. Tell me what the community banks did wrong in 07 and 08. You guys punished them pretty hard. And I never have been able to figure out what they did wrong in the meltdown.
Thank you, Senator. I'm not aware of community banks doing something wrong in the financial crisis. There were community bank failures.
Why did y'all regulate them so much? Why did you put the hammer down on them? I mean, it was the larger financial institutions that caused the meltdown, and I might add, y'all didn't put anybody in jail among that group. But in doing so, you really heightened regulation on community banks. And I'm just asking what they did wrong. Was that just one of those Chicago drive-by shootings or what?
Thank you, Senator. I've been always a strong proponent of trying to protect community banks from excessive regulation and to work on the safety and soundness of the community banking system. I think it's one of the things that makes our financial system vibrant and diverse.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy. I now recognize Senator...
And the balance between regulation and growth. Are the financial giants truly under control, or is the system still vulnerable? And have community banks paid too high a price for a crisis they didn't cause? The debate continues, but one thing is certain: Wall Street's rules may have changed, yet the battle over responsibility and reform is far from over. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and hit the subscriber button for more political showdown. Thanks for watching. See you in the